What would you do if someone collapsed right in front of you? Not in a hospital, not near a doctor, in a parking lot, a grocery store, your kid's soccer game. Because that's where most cardiac arrests actually happen.
Some law students who were taking the bar exam at Hofstra University are speaking out after someone had a medical crisis in the middle of the exam.
Very frightening. Officials and witnesses say one of the test takers went into cardiac arrest.
But today oh, you okay? Gordon, you okay? Yeah.
Every year, over 350,000 people suffer cardiac arrest outside of a hospital in the United States, and millions more worldwide. And here's the reality. Without a bystander CPR, fewer than 10% actually do survive. But when CPR is started immediately, survival can double, even triple, which means the difference between life and death is often just knowing what to do. I am the Marco Pera medical practitioner. In the next few minutes, I'm going to stress why you knowing basic first aid is crucial and walk you through how to perform basic CPR. First aid is about understanding life-saving skills everyone should know, because by practicing and being first aid savvy, not only are you saving lives, you're also boosting your confidence, you're being calm, especially in emergency situations, which can play a big role when it comes to recovery and life-saving in general. And one thing a lot of people tend to underestimate is being able to help people fast enough also helps with the recovery time and making the person being able to come back fitter sooner than otherwise. So, I mean, there are different things you can care for. You want to look at burns, you want to look at cuts, the sprains, choking. Concerning choking, we're thinking about the Heimlich maneuver. That's something we can talk about later. Fainting, unconsciousness with the necessity to perform CPR maybe, which is more or less our topic today. We're going to talk about that later. Simple first aid actions you want to perform. You want to clean wounds. You want to apply pressure when you have like bleeding, stop arteries and veins from bleeding profusely, and you want to position people in the recovery position, which helps keep the airway open and prevents choking in an unconscious bird breathing person, for example. Just a couple of things you can find inside first aid kit. You can always check that. It can of course be different. Adhesive bandages, sterile gauze, pads, and a couple of other things which you may generally want to have around just so you're more than prepared. You'll be amazed at how many people actually know basic first aids. Crazy how often so many people they're more in panic mode than being able to do something, and just being able to do basic stuff which they could easily learn and perform when need be. Practical 10-step action plan from the moment someone collapses to starting CPR. You want to ensure the scene is safe. You quickly check that the area is safe for you and the victim. No traffic, no electricity, no fire. You want to check for responsiveness. You tap the person's shoulder and shout, are you okay? Look for any movement or any response. You want to call for help. If no response, shout for help immediately so others nearby can assist. You want to call your emergency service for sure. You're calling 911 in the US, other numbers in other places, 112 in Europe. You want to position the person, very important, carefully lay the person flat on the back on a firm surface so your CPR could be efficient. Open the airways, you're tilting the head back and lift the chin. Head, tilt, chin lift maneuver. You're checking for breathing. Look, listen, and feel for breathing. No more than 10 seconds. Occasional gap spin may be normal. You want to check for pulse. If trained, check for pulse, hit arteries at the neck. No more than 10 seconds. If unsure, no pulse, you definitely want to act immediately. You want to identify cardiac arrest, more or less like if the person is unresponsive, if there's no breathing, if there's no pulse, you're assuming cardiac arrest. That means you're beginning CPR. CPR, of course, you want to push hard and fast in the center of the chest. 100 to 120 compressions per minute, about 2 inches, that's close to about 5 centimeters. 30 compressions, 2 breaths. If untrained, hands or the CPR, better than nothing. If an AD, automated external defibrillator, is around or if it arrives, use it as soon as possible and follow its instructions. So I just want to say something about ADs, automated external defibrillators. As the name says, they are automated, so they're super easy to use. All you need to do is being able to read and write. Now you want to turn on the AD, open the lid and press the power button. The device will begin giving you voice instructions automatically. You want to expose and prepare the chest of the patient. You want to remove the clothing from the chest, wipe dry if wet. If very hairy, you want to shave. Oftentimes you're going to have shaving kits inside as well. You want to attach the pads, place the pads exactly as shown on the diagrams, which you're going to see in the AD as well. One pad on the upper right chest oftentimes, and one pad on the lower side below the armpit. Now the AD is going to analyze, it's going to make sure that it checks the heart rhythm and tell you whether it's actually something what's shocking or not. At that point in time, you want to make sure no one is touching the person for sure. You're obviously going to want to stay clear once you're doing the analysis, and if at all the AD is preparing to shock. Now, if prompted, you want to press the shock button, immediately resume CPR, starting with chest compressions, and you obviously want to follow the AD prompts until help arrives. That's how easy it is. The brain begins to suffer damage in as little as 4 to 6 minutes without oxygen. But emergency response times are often 7 to 10 minutes away. Developing countries even way longer than that. That gap, that's where CPR matters most. Now, everything I'm going to show you is based on guidelines from the American Heart Association, but if you're somewhere else in the world, you're not going to be doing something totally wrong if you try this out. When I renewed my CPR training last year, these were the standards being taught and reinforced in real emergencies. So, when do you use CPR? So first, you're going to use CPR if someone is unconscious, the person is not breathing normally, the person is not responding. If you're not sure, start anyway, because doing something is almost always better than doing nothing. It used to be ABC in the past, but we know nowadays that CAB actually tends to save more lives. So we're talking about circulation, airways, and breathing. We start with compressions. That's what the C stands for, because moving blood to the brain is the priority. 30 compressions, 2 breaths, and then you repeat successfully. Hands in the center of the chest, you push hard and you push fast. At least 2 inches deep. That's what we're talking about, pushing deep enough. We're talking 100 to 120 beats per minute. 1 minute is 60 seconds. So think about that. So that's literally pap, pap, pap. If you need a rhythm, think about staying alive, 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 staying alive. Let the chest fully rise between each push. These devices are designed to guide you step by step. Anybody who can read and write should be able to follow the instructions. It shows you exactly what spot, and there are pictures shows you what spot on the chest you're supposed to place it, and what you're supposed to look for, what spot you're supposed to place it on the chest. You obviously follow the instructions. It's going to determine whether it's a shockable rhythm or not, and then it's going to tell you when to press and all that stuff. So you don't need to be scared about having some extra training or so to be able to use it. It's easily usable. All you need is being able to read and write. Obviously, you want to call if others are around. Okay, so when it comes to calling for help, this is something also very important when it comes to calling for help. If others are around, you gotta be specific when you're giving instructions. Point and say. you call 911. If you're alone, call, put it on speaker, and start compressions immediately. I mean, why you're gonna say why you want to be specific because why you want to be specific is because research shows that whenever you are not specific, if you say you call 911, everybody might assume that someone's going to call, and at the end, nobody might call. So that's why you want to point and give clear instructions and directions. You might be thinking, well, if I do something wrong, here's the truth. Broken ribs can heal, but without CPR, the brain gets no oxygen. The brain goes down. You don't need circulation to have and hence only CPR is enough to save a life. Here's what matters. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to act. Because in those few moments, you are the difference. And it's something anyone can do. If you take one thing from this video, let it be this. Inform yourself about performing basic CPR and be ready and bold enough to take a move if need comes. If this video helped you, share it of course, because the person who sees this video might be the one who saves your life. And perhaps that could just be you too. I am your Marco Pera. This is Happysimus, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace and love. Share.